Okay then. Okay. Very blustery day, man. Jesus. Dude, this is bouncing all over the place. That motorcyclist had balls of solid rock. Right. Namaste. You know, weirdest thing about being in the Himalayas is that the wind is so powerful during the day, but at night it drops off completely and the air is still. Good morning, friends. So it's a beautiful day here in Kagbeni. I've been sitting on the windowsill having breakfast before the wind really picks up. I'm sure there's some meteorological explanation for this, but the wind completely drops off every evening and then picks up again kind of like midday, and then it's super gusty. I'm starting work in about half an hour. Oh, I love this place. I love this place. I'm so tempted to stay an extra week, but I'm not going to because I still have pretty much the whole of eastern Nepal to explore. But it's very tempting. Anyway, the point I was going to make here is this is my trusty walking stick, and if you're watching this, you know that about a third of the way up to Jarkot, the other day, I noticed that the rubber foot that my dad and I had arrow-lighted onto the thing at Christmas had come off, which was incredibly annoying because it's literally just a piece of wood. And so if I had continued using it all the way up, the nub would have worn down substantially, which was incredibly demoralizing at the time. I shucked my side pack and stuff, and I walked down about 100 meters or so, 200 meters, kind of scanning, looking for it. But I couldn't find it. And I was gutted about that. But then I found a piece of rubber, and I jerry-rigged that to protect the nub and all of that. And it's worked incredibly well, to the point where I'm just going to keep it. I've sealed the paracord I used to tie it up. It seems very secure. So I am really happy about that. It instantly fixed my mood, gave me a spring in my step, and I continued up the mountain. So yeah, that's just a little postscript, as it were. Anyway, I know I've taken so many videos of this mountain that's just outside my window. I'm gonna do it again because it is just so beautiful in the light. Anyway, hope you're smiling. Yeah, worst places to be. Good morning, friends. So once again, I'm sitting on my windowsill, enjoying the early morning sun, having breakfast, relaxing. I don't start work for a couple of hours yet, and by that time the wind will have picked up and I'll have to close my window. I've been in Kagbeni, and I'll put a what 3 words locator in the comments here so you can see exactly where I am. Been in Kagbeni for 6 days. I leave tomorrow morning. I am tempted to stay for another week, but I don't want to sacrifice any more of my time. But I'm leaving tomorrow morning on the local bus. I've already booked a seat, thank you. At 9:30 to go back to Pokhara, arriving Pokhara in the evening, probably about sunset. And then I've got 24 hours in Pokhara because I'm staying one night, and I'm getting a night bus back to Kathmandu on Saturday evening. Anyway, I've been looking over some of the videos that I've made for Kagbeni, and I think I've been a little bit negligent in information because, I'm going to give myself a pass for the trek up to Jakot because I was walking uphill for 3.5 hours at a very high altitude, so, But anyway, so that mountain there that you've seen so many times is called Nilgiri Himal. It's actually 3 peaks. It's like a mini massif, but it's 3 peaks. The highest of all of them is the North Peak at 7,061 meters. To put that into perspective for my international viewers, as it were, that is half again as high as the tallest mountain in North America, at least in the contiguous United States. The highest mountains in the world are, of course, the 8,000 meters, including Annapurna 1, which is about 25 miles that way. But yes. And I have to say, I've loved this place, absolutely loved this place. And I am going to miss it. But most of all, I'm going to miss that mountain, because waking up and just like rolling over and seeing the dawn hit that mountain and just seeing it all the time from where I'm working and living is just amazing. Yeah, anyway, to go back to Jarkot. Jarkot is the small village way up high that I hiked up to on Monday morning, Jeffrey. Anyway, Kagbeni is it's a logical location. It is at the meeting point of two valleys, and of course 2 river systems, and so that makes sense. Jarkot is much higher up, at the top of a large valley. It is very well situated on an outcrop, so it's protected from flash floods and avalanches and all that sort of thing. And Kagbeni has a population of about 1,000 people, maybe 1,200, maybe, and it is growing. As you can see, the boys there working in any kind of wind condition over there. There are a few buildings being constructed. There's one being converted down the way, close to the bridge across the river, and it looks like they're renovating an old building and adding to it to make a place like this. But it's a small village. It's very quiet here. Jarkot is 300 to 500, I would guess. And there are a couple of little satellite villages along the way of 100 people or so. So it's a very sparsely populated area, of course, because we're so high up. The major industries, if you like, here are pastoral and agricultural. The valleys are very clearly very fertile, or can be made to be in rather organic ways. They're well fed by water, so there's very little irrigation needed. So pastoral, I think, is the big one, at least in my brain, because, well, that's my breakfast. You have a freshly baked roll with yak butter, and that is yak cheese, which is very nice, actually. This place, as I mentioned before, is called Yak Donald's, which is a terrible pun. They actually have a Happy Meal menu where you have a burger and fries and the rest, and it's a yak burger. The point is that pastoral societies predate agriculture. I've been to a place myself in Somalia called Las Gil, which is a Neolithic site with cave paintings all over the place. If I remember, I'll chuck a couple of photos into this video so you can see what I mean. The estimated age of that cave dwelling is 7,000 to 9,000 years ago. And you can see very clearly from the cave art that they had a pastoral society. They herded and harvested livestock. So, and I had this thought as I was whistling my way down the mountain, having achieved what I set out to achieve, and it has to be said, man, that it's entirely possible that these people have been up here, up this high, herding yaks for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I mean, the whole area, if you come up here from Pokhara, it's like driving up into the mountains, as it were, there is a river gorge with walls of stone on both sides. We were driving through that for about 45 minutes to an hour. If anyone wanted to invade this place before the advent of air power, of course, it would have been incredibly difficult. And even if they did want to, why would you want to? It's not a particularly strategic location as far as I can tell. You know, it's just people living up this high because they do. But as I say, as a pastoral society predating agriculture spreading its way across the world from the Fertile Crescent, it's entirely possible there might be some people here who have just been here, their families, their clans, whatever, forever and a day. Anyway, I am now going to enjoy my breakfast. I hope you're smiling.